You're alone in a dark alleyway when you hear a lion's roar. Peeking out of the shadows, the king of the jungle stares at your face and runs directly towards you. You try sprinting to get away from him, but it looks like your legs and arms are moving through jello-like air. That's when you spot an old phone booth and manage to get inside it. But how do you even call anyone in one of these things? Where's your smartphone? The world of dreams is a crazy one, to say the least. It's a safe place to live out our deepest and darkest fears. But regardless of what common knowledge says, it's not where all things are possible. For example, you'll most likely never dream of your smartphone, and you'll have a pretty hard time trying to run. Why though? Scientists are still studying why humans dream, so there's a lot we don't know about the science of dreaming just yet. But there's a theory that helps to explain why we have a hard time dreaming of modern things, such as smartphones, computers, and even airplanes. It's called the threat simulation hypothesis. Let's call it the TSH. This theory says that by living our deepest fears and anxieties through our dreams, we are practicing how we would react to them in real life. That's why so many people relive traumatic experiences in dream states. The brain is trying to condition us to survive threatening situations by practicing them out in a safe environment, aka the sleeping state. So, if you dream you're being chased in the woods by a bear or you're trying to finish that math exam without studying, this is your brain anticipating possible reactions by trying them out in a dream state first. It makes you sharp and aware in case these things do happen to you in real life. Should we thank our brains for this? I think so, yeah. But that's just one half of the story. Scientists also argue that since the dream state evolved as a defense mechanism, we tend to dream about situations that were dangerous to our ancestors. So, modern technologies such as computers and smartphones will rarely appear in people's dreams. Notice I said rarely? That means it's not universal. According to an analysis of 16,000 dream reports, smartphones do seem to appear in 3.55% of women's dreams, while computers appeared in only 1.2%. It's a very small number, but still, some people have the luxury or the haunt of dreaming about their cell phone. But why can't we run though? I don't know about you, but I'm always trying and failing to run in my dreams. There are a couple of reasons why that might happen. Some dream experts suggest that it might be because when we're sleeping, our brain is active, but our muscles are relaxed and lying still. Some conflicting signals may happen, which results in the running through water movement we feel in a dream state. Another theory says that when we're dreaming, we're engaging in a constant act of world building. Our brain is building the scenarios we're engaging with, processing all the information that's unfolding before us. If we started running, maybe the brain wouldn't be able to keep up with the world building. So our dream avatars are slowed down to a speed that is compatible with the brain's processing speed. You're flying above crystalline sea waters. The wind is brushing through your hair. You look around, and there's a pig-faced pelican smiling at you. It approaches you and starts to tickle your nose with its feathers. You laugh, but you can't feel a thing. What's up with that? Here's a fun fact. Even lucid dreamers can't feel ticklish when they're dreaming. In case you don't know, lucid dreaming happens when a person is aware that they're dreaming and starts to constantly narrate the course of their dreams. It's where you get to be the scriptwriter and director of your own life. Scientists speculate that lucid dreaming is not a state of sleep, but rather a state of wakefulness where the person can establish a so-called two-way communication between dreaming and real life. Does this remind you a little bit of the movie Inception? If it does, that's because Christopher Nolan took inspiration from his experience with lucid dreaming in order to write this movie. Anyways, in a study published by a neuroscience journal, researchers worked with lucid dreamers to see if they could tickle themselves or be tickled by other characters in their dreams. And they found something quite amazing. Dreamers couldn't feel the tickles. Researchers think this suggests that when we're dreaming, the part of the brain that reacts to stimuli is minimized. And let's face it, that's a good thing when you're dreaming you're stuck inside a house catching fire, right? Now let's say you just woke up from an agitated dream. You spent the night dreaming you were at a rock concert where the band members were your childhood stuffed animals. You remember all the minor details of the dream, but you can't seem to remember any of the melodies the teddy bear band was singing. Why is that so? Most people don't or can't dream of music, but that seems so strange since music is a huge part of our daily lives. The only ones who do seem to dream and remember the soundtrack of their sleeping lives are musicians. To understand this a bit more, we have to look at another dream theory. In 1983, scientists came up with a neurobiological theory called reverse learning. This theory says that during our REM sleep cycles, the neocortex reviews our daily neural connections and decides what to do with them. That's when our short-term memory is tucked away in the long-term memory section of our brain. And it's also the moment when our brain cleans up. It dumps the unnecessary neural connections and tries to keep the important ones. In this theory, dreams are the result of this unlearning process. Say you've been dealing with some anxiety regarding your work. You suspect you might get fired and that's all you think about. Your brain makes up different make-believe scenarios, playing out a series of interactions that end up never happening in real life. Some of these neural connections will be deleted from your brain database while you sleep. This is what might happen to music. The dreaming mind treats music as parasitic and non-essential, preventing it from ever making it to the long-term memory pile. If you think about it, our brain kind of protects us from having that cheesy melody stuck with us for eternity. Let's do a quick thought exercise. Consider that an average human being spends about 2 hours dreaming every night. That means by the time that you're 80 years old, you'll have dreamed the equivalent of 60,000 hours. That's 10 years worth of dreaming. Crazy, huh? Now imagine if our brains didn't erase a cheesy melody we listened to more times than we would have liked. I can't even begin to imagine the overload of information our brains would have been able to stock. Moving on. You know what else you can't do while you're dreaming? Experience things in real time. We just said we spend an average of 2 hours dreaming each night, but on average, we sleep around 8 hours, and it does feel like we spent all those hours dreaming. According to recent research, a simple action that might take 5 minutes in waking life to be performed can take much longer in a dream. They tested this out with lucid dreamers, where scientists would ask them to perform a task and signal when they're done, while the researchers timed everything. Perhaps that's why we get the impression we dream for 8 hours straight every night. Tell me one thing though, how many of you even remember your dreams? According to statistics, half of us remember at least one dream a week, and women are more likely to remember their dreams compared to men. Care to tell us about any recent dreams of yours?
Have you ever realized that you're dreaming in the middle of a dream? Oh, wait, this isn't real. Then you kind of write the script of your dream while you're still in it. Lucid dreaming is a technique allowing you to control your dreams. Here's everything you should know about this practice and other cool facts about dreams. Dreams. They're mysterious and unpredictable. You remember them perfectly when you first wake up, but then they seem to fade away. Lucid dreaming changes these features. Basically, you know you're asleep and dreaming. With that level of consciousness, you shape the dream's narrative with your imagination. Several factors affect the recollection of dreams, such as how many hours you sleep and even your diet. Studies reveal that people who make less effort to remember what they dream about during the night can more easily enter the lucid state. If you've never had this type of dream, that's also okay. Good news, people can learn and get better at this with time. In fact, there's more than one way to practice having lucid dreams. A researcher tested the effectiveness of 5 different techniques, working with hundreds of participants. The first technique of lucid dreaming is reality testing. Here, the participants are expected to examine their physical environment repeatedly every day to perceive its reality. The goal is to turn this behavior into a habit. In that way, participants can make reality checks in dreams and understand that they're dreaming. You can also do reality checks during the day. This will enhance metacognition, which is the awareness of your own thoughts. You get used to differentiating real life and dreams. You can check the time to see if it's running normally, because you can't really comprehend the flow of time when you're in a dream. Or press your finger into your palm to feel if it's solid or not. Applying these reality tests when you're awake will prepare your brain to try them in a dream and enter lucidity. The second technique is called Wake Back to Bed. This one suggests you go to bed and set the alarm to wake up after 5 hours. You stay awake for a short time and do an activity to stimulate your mind, like writing or reading. Then you go back to sleep. This way, you go straight back to the REM phase. You can dream during this stage of your sleep cycle. So, by kind of tricking your conscious brain, you make it stay active as you re-enter REM sleep. The next technique has one of the highest success rates. Mnemonic induction of lucid dreams, or MILD for short, also asks you to wake up after 5 hours of sleep. And when you wake up, you should remind yourself that you intend to realize that you are dreaming the next time you go to sleep. You can literally say to yourself, "Next time I'm dreaming, I'll remember I'm dreaming." Think of our brains like supercomputers. You program your computer with this phrase. When you notice that you're sleepy, focus on the most recent dream you had. Try to pick up a dream sign. This could be something that felt surreal about the narrative of your dream. Your intention is to remember, return, and visualize that dream to become lucid in it. Okay, I know no one probably wants to leave their cozy bed and wake up in the middle of the night, but the senses-initiated lucid dream technique also works like that. This practice suggests that the participant should focus on noises, sights, and physical sensations after waking up. They can control the action and the content if they concentrate on each stimulus for 20 seconds before falling asleep again. This one is among the most effective techniques. The last technique is a combo. When the alarm wakes you up after 5 hours of sleep, you focus on the sounds and the sensations you get from your surroundings. Then you remind yourself of the whole point of doing it with the help of the intention phrase. It requires practice and takes time. Little by little, people become more mindful of their dreams. Did you know that younger people have a natural tendency to have lucid dreams? A Harvard study found that most younger people experience these dreams in their growing up process. The results show us that people don't actually learn, but rather remember how to become lucid. This means we have the know-how all along. We just need to practice it. You might think that using your imagination to control your dreams can make you feel tired, but it's the opposite. Once you become lucid, your brain moves into the gamma wave brain state. And this is cool. Lucid dreaming is like a natural state of meditation. And you wake up with more energy. Do lucid dreams have other benefits? Yes, they're good for your overall well-being. You get vivid, real-life experiences. You can't do some of the things you can dream of when you're awake. It may help consolidate motor skills and ease anxiety. What's even more interesting is that your brain also gets benefits from lucid dreaming. The area of your brain called the prefrontal cortex gets reactivated, and your neuroplasticity becomes engaged. This is the ability of your brain to rewire itself. For example, to enhance a newly learned skill. Studies reveal that if you practice an athletic discipline in a lucid dream, your brain rewires itself in a way that makes you get better at that discipline. These types of dreams are also used to treat recurring nightmares. It's used as a tool to overcome the stress people have after traumatic events. This method is proven. Some psychotherapists use it during their sessions to help their counselees integrate their trauma. Researchers say that lucid dreaming has the potential to heal if people become lucid and apply some visualized healing techniques under the surveillance of their therapists. We've talked about the benefits, but can lucid dreaming be dangerous? It's generally safe, but there are risks too. It's hard not to notice that many of the techniques require interrupting your sleep cycle. This might be bad for people who have existing mental health conditions. Another side effect of a broken sleep cycle may include dissociation. If you can't figure out what is a dream and what's real, that's a problem. There's also something called sleep paralysis. You know, the times when you're conscious, but you can't move. Some people can't even open their eyes, and you just desperately wait there for your brain to let you move. So it's super important to consult a therapist or sleep specialist before trying to enter lucidity. Let's say your therapist or sleep specialist has approved your work with lucid dreaming, and you're excited to start. What should you take into account? The answer is sleep hygiene. Sleep hygiene means that your daily actions, especially before bedtime, have an impact on your overall sleep quality. A healthy sleep habit requires a comfortable sleep environment and a consistent sleep schedule. If you have those, you can get a restful sleep and rise and shine the next day. If you sleep in a cool and dark room, that's a plus. You've probably heard hundreds of times about the good effects of moving electronic devices out of your bedroom or stopping looking at screens at least 30 minutes before taking a nap. It works in favor of lucid dreaming, too. This routine helps your brain to be in the mood for deep sleep, where you can dive into REM. People born blind have sensory dreams instead of image-based ones. Instead of the sense of sight, dreams are shaped by other senses. Other than that, the intensity of dreams is equal. By comparison, people who become blind later in life still have visual dreams. Here's a bonus. Animals also have dreams. Your four-pawed best friend sometimes goes on an adventure in their sleep. So, have you ever had lucid dreams? If yes, tell us about how it went.
In this world, there are spiders the size of a house. The water in the rivers is as hot as lava, and the grass is as sharp as a blade. But you don't have any reason to be worried, because you control everything in this world. This is your dream. There are no barriers for you here. You can run at the speed of light, fly across the sky, jump from one planet to another. There are no boring rules. The laws of physics and biology are a distant memory. Animals can talk, and trees can walk. The floating mountains look especially beautiful against the background of the bright red sky. Do you want a closer look? No problem. This is your world. You could pick up your bike and race across the clouds to the mountains. No, that's far too boring. You can become a cloud and float there yourself. Ahem. What? Who's coughing? There's someone standing behind you. You turn around and see a man in a white coat and glasses. Dr. Johnson, what are you doing in my dream? He starts to talk to you. Buddy, it's time for you to wake up. Suddenly, everything fades to black. Something unknown pulls you out of the dream world. You slowly open your eyes. Weirdly, you don't feel groggy at all. Electrical sensors are dangling uncomfortably on your head. Dr. Johnson is standing in front of you next to a lot of complicated equipment. Hey, welcome back to the real world. For more than 100 years, researchers have been trying to unravel the mystery of dreams. In recent years, they've taken a small but important step forward. Scientists don't know how to fully enter our dreams, but they've learned to communicate with a dreamer while they sleep. In 4 independent laboratories, scientists observed the sleep of 36 volunteers. For this, they used special sensors that monitor brain activity and pick up neural signals. The researchers asked the participants questions with audio recordings and Morse code. They tapped on the volunteers' hands and blinked light signals to try to get through to the dreamers. Amazingly, when they woke up, the sleeping people claimed to have heard the scientists like a voiceover in a movie. For some, the audio recording even became part of their dream. For example, one of the dreamers said they heard a voice coming out of a radio, asking if they knew the Spanish language. Volunteers answered yes or no questions with eye movements or facial muscle cues. They could even solve math problems in their sleep. When asked what 8 minus 6 was, a volunteer blinked their left and right eyes to signal the answer was 2. Of almost 160 questions asked, the researchers successfully established a two-way contact around 20% of the time. That means that even now, scientists can infiltrate our dreams reasonably easily. You might be surprised at how much scientists already know about the way humans sleep. An average person in good health gets to sleep in about 10 minutes. Sleep isn't that simple though. It comes in a few different stages. As soon as you fall asleep, you're in something called non-REM sleep. This early stage of sleep, brain activity, heart rate, breathing rate, and body temperature all drop. This takes up about 70% of our total time asleep. Sleep continues through a few more phases until it reaches REM sleep, after 80 to 90 minutes. REM means rapid eye movement, describing the strange darting movements that our eyes make during this sleep stage. REM is the deepest stage of sleep, and most scientists agree that it's the most crucial part of your night, even though it's only around 30% of your time asleep. Interestingly, there isn't much difference in brainwave activity between REM sleep and wakefulness. At this time, you see the most vivid and lucid dreams. If you wake up unexpectedly, you'll most likely be able to remember what you saw in your dream. While most muscles relax during non-REM, they all tense up and freeze in place when you reach the deepest stage of sleep. This paralysis is useful. It stops us from moving or reacting in response to vivid dreams. Most people spend about a third of their life asleep. A good night's rest is as essential as food, water, air, and the internet. But what could happen if you stayed awake for a long time without sleeping? If you neglected sleep for more than 24 hours, your memory, attentiveness, and hearing would all get worse. You would find it difficult to make decisions, and your visual coordination would decrease. After 36 hours of insomnia, blood pressure rises, hormone production is disrupted, so your emotions would become erratic and you would have little self-control. You would struggle to motivate yourself to do anything. At 48 hours without sleep, your emotional and physical condition would plummet. Your body would try to save you by forcing you to have microsleeps. Microsleep is where your body shuts down for as little as a few seconds. But most people don't even notice their bodies do this. So it can be really dangerous to do anything without proper sleep. Whatever you're doing, your vision fades and your brain shuts itself off. You would wake up and continue whatever you were doing without even noticing the few seconds you lost. After 72 hours without sleep, things start to get serious. Even though this might not seem like that long without sleep, things get really bad at this point. You might begin to experience hallucinations, and most people begin to lose their connection to the real world and act strangely. Overall, it isn't a good idea to go without sleep. It even worsens the skin, leads to an increase in general stress. All of this might make you wonder what the world record is for spending the longest time awake. If things get that bad after only 2.5 days, surely it can't be much longer than that. One of the longest times ever recorded was by Randy Gardner, a student in 1964. He kept himself awake for 11 days and 25 minutes. In total, he was awake for 264.4 hours. All of this was done for a scientific experiment. He wanted to prove that extreme sleep deprivation had no real long-term consequences. For the most part, he seemed to be right. Gardner was irritable for most of the experiment, but he didn't face any terrible issues the longer it went. The worst thing he experienced was hallucinations and forgetfulness. Did you know that a lot of older people dream in black and white? The older the person, the more likely it is that their nightly adventures are colorless. 25% of people over 50 years old report black and white dreams. Incredibly, scientists believe that this has to do with television. People who watched black and white programs in their childhood dream in the same color. These people are now older, and, despite watching color TV now, they still dream in black and white. Among younger people, only 12% dream in black and white. It's interesting to think what color people dreamed in before any kind of TV existed. Did black and white TV make people dream without color? Or did color TV make dreams more colorful? For 4% of Americans, sleep is a difficult time. These people are on the border of the real world and the world of dreams. This group of people are called sleepwalkers. In science, this condition is called somnambulism. People who have this disorder may not be in control of their activities while they sleep. This might sound like fun, but only at first glance. Sleepwalking is a serious risk. Imagine that you're asleep and your body gets out of bed and goes for a walk down the street. Things could get risky very quickly. You might even walk down to your local bank and try to withdraw some money. Pretty much everyone has dreamed of falling from a height and woken abruptly just before they hit the ground. This is called a myoclonic jerk. It often happens just as you're falling asleep, and we still don't really know the cause. One theory is that all of the muscles in your body completely relax, and your body begins to drift off before your mind has had a chance to get ready to sleep. You begin to dream, and your conscious brain panics, feeling like it's falling, and forces the body awake to save you. Luckily, it doesn't cause any damage and isn't indicative of any broader problems. It can be a bit annoying when you're wrapped up in a cozy bed, ready to doze off though. On average, we have 4 to 6 dreams per night. 5 minutes after waking up, you forget 50% of your dreams. And after 10 minutes, 90% of your dreams will have disappeared forever. Many people think they don't have dreams at all, but really, they just forget them all quickly. We all have dreams, but scientists don't know why exactly. Some believe that the brain uses dreams to process life experiences and the events of the day. Some psychologists see sleep as a monitor through which we can see ourselves. Have you ever had the same dream several times in a row? Maybe your subconscious mind is trying to tell you something. Many dreams are strange, very strange. There can be a lot of absurdity in them. Dreams shouldn't be taken literally, but they can be interpreted to give you useful clues about your life. Is a monster chasing you? Or are you running away from a car? The subconscious mind warns you about the problems at work, school, or in a relationship. Maybe you're running away from something in the real world. One common dream is that you're standing on top of a mountain or on the roof of a skyscraper and feel scared or anxious. This might mean that you're ready to take on new heights, but are afraid to move forward. If you're flying in the sky or on an airplane in your dream, then it could show that you've defeated a big obstacle in your life. It might be time to look for new opportunities and new victories. Maybe you dreamed that you were walking through the house you grew up in, but you can't find a room. If this is the case, your subconscious mind might be warning you that you're suppressing part of your personality. Find the lost room. Perhaps this is a new hobby, work, or moving to another city. In your dream, are you late for a meeting, or did you oversleep your alarm clock? Stop running away from responsibility. It's time for you to take control of your life. Take the initiative, and you'll succeed.